Luca Nation, welcome back to episode 706 of Lucas Tigers and Bronze. The Fractional Report brought to you by Collectable before opening bell. And I could just hear people out there, Cage. There's blood in the water. And I think this is just the beginning. And here's what I'm seeing. But I'm coming to you because I think people that are listening are like, hey, we've been riding with you for 2 years. You've done a lot of good for us. And not just like, hey, buy this card, Austin Matthews, this guy. You've taught people how to think, and you're very contrarian. But
I am very
gas is $6 a gallon, right? Food is expensive.
I did that.
Food is you did that. Gas $6 to $10 an hour. Food is expensive. Rent has gone up. Travel costs have gone up. Flights have gone up. Vacations have gone up. Everyday goods have gone up. What I'm seeing is an influx of supply because either you're not buying anything because you have way more expenses, or you have to sell things to cover expenses. Now, you don't sell everything, but you sell some of the stuff you accumulated over the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100%.
So, and what happens, in my opinion, when there's no buyers and there are sellers, the price inevitably goes down. How much it goes down, we don't know. You're going to see that with Ethereum and Bitcoin. You're going to see that with stocks. You see that with lower end cards. I don't think you see that in the upper echelon of cards, and that's interesting to see. Will we see it? I think that will be an important kind of metric, but you see it with the lower end stuff because I don't want to sell my best stuff yet.
Yep.
Right? So that's where I'm at with it. But dude, you're the expert. I'm the novice. I'm the grasshopper. I'm waxing on and off.
I like the waxing on. Waxing on and off. Wax on, wax off. Do you know what that's from? Was that an accidental movie quote from you? Or was that on purpose?
What happens is we've done this for 2 years. So there's movie quotes that you've given me that I've actually never watched the movie, but I can regurgitate the movie quote.
Okay. Here is like high level, like bullpen LA Mitch type of stuff. I got a couple early Father's Day presents today, including the cool pack of cards.
Is today Father's Day?
No, early. It's next week. But my kids, they can't keep a secret. So they got stuff in the mail yesterday, and they were like, here you go, happy year. Plus, I was pissed off this morning about something completely unrelated. So they said, all right, here, we'll cheer you up. We got you some cards. And did you see my post about the original kabooms? I mean, they really weren't kabooms, but you should take a look at it, guys. There are kabooms out there. They were kabooms
without the coded finish.
They were kabooms. They were like old kabooms. And I got this shirt, which is the best shirt I've ever worn. You guys know me and my T-shirts. Do you know what this is? Sure. It's not Shaft. Shaft.
Baddest man on the planet.
Dude, this is
Ice
Ghost Dog.
Special
this is Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. You should watch this. You're very much like Ghost Dog. Completely out of touch with reality, but justifies behavior that is sort of a little terrible, like murder, because he's a hitman for the mob, by establishing a code. Like living 75 hard. He has the code by
when I win my SB, I want you to give my speech. Can you open with that, please?
I will. Like, you basically are Ghost Dog. You are the way of the samurai. You got a weird way of doing things, but you have a code. 75 hard. That's the code. It's fun stuff, man. Anyway, this is a great movie. You got to check this movie out. I took Ian to a birthday party just now. I walked in. It was one of these amazing like dome places where there's like a league playing a basketball tournament, and there's indoor like kickball. They had the adults playing dodgeball. It was great. I felt like Vince Vaughn. It was a great time. I had fun. But as soon as I walked in the place, the guy behind the counter was like, "Oh, great movie. So underrated. People don't even know." But I got 2 shirts. I got a Wu-Tang shirt and this.
This guy was in a fraternity, right?
No, he did not. I doubt he went to college at all. But what's funny, I owned the VHS of this, and when I moved in with my girlfriend at the time, wife now, I didn't have a lot of money and a lot of VHS tapes. This was one of a few VHS tapes that I owned, and I literally watched it like every day. And she's like, "You're watching this Ghost Dog idiot again?" So she bought this as like a throwback. But dude, the whole soundtrack's done by the RZA. Wu-Tang Staten Island connections for me growing up. So anyway, good stuff. Focus on the good stuff. Because when you focus on the good stuff, even though it's weird, it's weirdly intriguing. And so is the market these days, man. It's all weirdly intriguing because you have the people who are ready to dig their heels in. You have the people who already say, "Oh, you know what? So Buster with a fun quote, like, it's sometimes it takes a little while to let people know you were right all along.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if you have that conviction, if you know what you're buying is right to buy, all right, it might not be the right thing to buy in 6 months, or it might not be the right thing to buy if you look at like a 3-month window. But if you take that scope out a little bit, you're going to be telling somebody, I told you so, in a year or two. And I think right now we're in the market in one of those kind of.
It's hard to have conviction in a market like this, though, Cage.
Oh, and that's usually why the people who have conviction in markets like this are the ones that are rewarded when the market turns, right? And there's other ways
you have conviction though because you have a philosophy.
Well, I've also been here for more than 3 minutes, yes. But yeah, I mean, we can talk about the philosophy. Listen, I'll give you a perfect example, just so we don't have to go to it's always got to be goats and the whole deal. Take a look at, I know this is our collectible episode, but take a look at the video that Slab Stocks just put out about their PWCC flipping. It's a real great video because it's honesty, right? Right? If you watch it in the beginning and you've watched those guys do their flip quest that they do, we're going to buy, we're going to sell, we're going to buy, we're going to sell. They took a loss, like a big loss on a Ronald Acuna card, right? So normally you wouldn't brag about that. You wouldn't say, wow, I sold this card, I paid a lot for it, over $1,000, and we took a big loss. But the behind the scenes on why they took the loss is the key, right? They used that, they liquidated a bunch of stuff and bought a big George Russell card, F1 card, right? And they haven't sold that yet, but recently similar cards have sold for a lot more than what they paid for that card. So that's a good example of what people are doing, right? They have conviction with F1. They see the market in F1. They see that that's one where people are. And go ahead, please.
Well, can I give you where my mind went with that?
Yeah, sure. Of course,
those guys a little bit, but also see, I think they're chasing the newest fad.
Of course. Yeah, of course. There's more than one way to skin a cat, right? And if you're going to be doing a flipping, right, that George Russell might not be worth what they paid for it in a year, 2 or 3. But at the National, when he's got a million, top 5 finishes, if their time window is to sell it now and make up some of the losses when Acuna is not going to be popping, then they have a different way of doing it. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not going to preach at people and say go out there and buy Mickey Mantles, right? I'm not going to say go out there and say this is the only way to do it. There are a lot of ways of doing it, and they happen to have one. And sure, you're right. It's chase the shiny new thing, but chase the shiny new thing.
I'm just worried that buying F1 is sort of doing the same thing as buying that Acuna. It's you're buying something after it's run up tremendously.
So you have to be smart about what you're buying, right? And they didn't buy Verstappen, they didn't buy Lewis Hamilton, they didn't buy Leclerc.
You didn't buy LeBron Topps Chrome in a BGS 10 refractor when it was 200,000, Cage.
No, I didn't.
You bought it at 60,000.
So we can
come down to a third of the price.
We can roll.
You're not buying the Futera Lewis Hamilton at 600,000. Like,
true.
Some people, there are some whales that are like the comp setters. There are people that like that game. Like, I want to set the high score.
Right. Well, and sometimes setting the high score, sometimes breaking a record is good because they're not going to come out. I mean, the cards that I'm buying, there are plenty of them.
I think 99.9% of our audience is not that.
I
don't think they're like, let me set a new record on this card. I think they're like, let me find some value on this card. Let me find a card that, people are either sleeping on or it's come down tremendously.
Yeah. Okay. So my thing, the ones that have come down tremendously, that kind of contrarian play, right? It's not the easiest thing in the world to go in and buy something like that because you still have the old adage of stop trying to time a bottom. You're not going to time it right. And if you try to do that, especially on cards that have any liquidity at all, you're going to drive yourself nuts. So I bought, Andrew's talking about, a LeBron Topps Chrome 2003 rookie in BGS 10. And I paid, I'm going to throw it out there, I paid $67 for it, all in buyer's premium, the whole 9 yards, okay? A week or two after, a PSA 10, now not a BGS 10, but a PSA 10 just sold on all for what, like $41,000 or $42,000. The PSA 10s in the same auction as mine were selling for $50, $51, which is why I paid the 60-something for a BGS 10. There's a premium. I wouldn't give it a huge premium. I definitely wouldn't give it a 50% premium, which is where it is now, right? From if you use the alt sale, it's a 50% premium to BGS 10. There's a premium, but I would. So
but this. It's a range.
Yeah, but I didn't look at that and say, wow, I got to sell. Wow, I got to get out of this. It's coming down. I looked at it and I said, okay. I was hopeful that I timed the bottom on this. Maybe I did. If there was somebody who bought it for $84,000, the same card, the same, BGS 10, a week or 2 or 3 before I bought mine, and they probably thought they timed the bottom too. And then I got mine, and maybe the next one that comes for sale will sell for 58 or 61. And eventually, what I'm trying to figure out are cards that are at or near that bottom. I don't have to time it completely right. I'm not going to pull my hair out if I see a sale come out that's lower than what I paid, because my thought process is that if I hold that card long enough, it will be worth more than what I paid. That's what I'm looking to buy in markets like this. Right? Does that make sense?
Let me ask you this.
Shoot.
Knowing what we learned from NFT land and your infinite bankroll, if that card goes down to 47,
it's pretty infinite.
600, do you buy a second?
I might, because that would help me dollar cost average, and then I could sell one as it's going on its way up. Sure. I am now heavily leveraged into LeBron.
Not that heavily, like.
So yeah. Anyway, not that heavily. So we'll. Yes,
like
the thought process
LeBron
there.
Cards.
Right,
like,
the thought
pump the
process
brakes.
The thought process there that you're coming up with is very good. I hope it doesn't come down to that. If it does, I'll have a decision to make. If the next one that comes up for sale,
you have like
I'll
300 Pokemon cards.
I have a lot of Pokemon cards. And, the thought is, do I reorg that too? Do I start selling some of those? I mean, you always have to be reassessing, not to you. You always have to be reassessing the portfolio. Always look at what. But I will tell you.
You could send them to my consignment show, which has been a hit.
You bring up a great point. It has been a hit. But you bring up a great point, right? Which is you always have to learn from, but I don't learn. So am I not fearful or nervous about my plays? Do I buy it and say, wow, this is a guaranteed win? No, nothing's guaranteed. When we were doing Top Shot, I was buying Luka and Steph, rare Series 1 moments for a huge amount of money. We're talking like 50,000, 70,000. Remember, I paid 50 grand, 70 grand
for the hollow?
For the hollows, for the Series 1 out of 25, out of 50. I was buying these. Because I couldn't get my money out, so that was a different story, right? So I might as well just roll it in. Had I not done that, I would have taken, significant. I took a huge hit on those. And yes, I'm concerned that maybe I'm doing the same thing now. That market ran up, and you don't want to be the one buying at the top, and then you're holding them on the way down trying to cash out. I think we're seeing that with the card market, but my hope is that the type of stuff that you can buy now that's coming down is stuff that has long-term potential, whereas Top Shot, you never know whether or not there's any long-term potential for it at all, So
I have two plays.
Shoot, I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it.
So one is kind of a pattern we watch. So I'm not going to go through a ton of the data. So the Collectable Sports Memorabilia Index, which was inception date is September 7, 2020. It's down 5% this week. Just really crushed across the board, but many things are. Golf was down the most. The only thing that was positive was tennis and soccer, which is interesting as we head into Wimbledon and the World Cup is 6 months away. But the top three decliners is Gleyber Torres. You could talk a little bit about that. He's playing decently well. Chris Bosh, and then Dwayne Wade down 37%. And I think talk about conviction. I think Dwayne Wade is someone who could have his time in the spotlight, so to speak. I actually don't know why he hasn't. Like, if you look at what he accomplished at such a young age, Cage, He was the star of that team. And if you guys go back to the 2006 Heat roster, it's one of the most hilarious rosters you'll ever see. Gary Payton was on that team. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Antoine Walker. But Wade was a monster. Like, he was head and shoulders the best player. And he turned it on when the spotlight was on. So he kind of reminds me of Iverson, but he has that championship, and he's also in culture. So you have that. I just never understood why he wasn't cardboard relevant, but here's a buying opportunity, right? It's down 40% this week. This is his Black Label Ultimate from 2003. Black Label, 20,000 market cap. So
we talked about that last week. Nice card.
Comps on that card are like closer to 10, right? So there's that little element. But
second, comps are tough on a Black Label. We were talking about the gold label, and maybe this was an overreaction. Maybe we talked about it. We compared a Black Label to gold label, which is really not the right comparison. And maybe people punished the Black Label, comparing it to recent gold label sales. So just be careful on that,
Do you want a popcorn or you want me to stay?
No, you said you had two. So I like to do.
This is right out of bullpen LA. I think when times are kind of turbulent and chaotic, what you want is a depreciating asset because everything's gonna. Let me explain. Let me rephrase that. Deflationary asset, like Bitcoin, is why people love it. Is because there's only 21 million ever printed or ever made. Wax is where I would go to, like high end wax, like the Fleer.
The Fleer box we talked about. Yep.
There's 03 tops on Fractional, which is also down 50% from IPO. So I'd look at some high-end wax. So those were my two kind of like preparing me for this episode. I wanted to get your takes on stuff because you've been through this a little more. But those are the two things I would look at.
I love it. I mean, no. I think the wax idea we talked about last week is great. I mean, I would lean more into that just because you want to talk about deflationary, right? I mean, every time somebody opens up one, there's less of it out there, right? So that there's that interesting aspect to to the sealed wax. I have a question for you because you might know this better than most. The most recent auction end that has comps for what we are talking about on Collectable was Alt. Do you think we do a service or a disservice to the Collectable community before the opening bell by going through those numbers? And if we do go through some of those comps, can you talk for a couple minutes in advance about the difference between Alt on their platform and say, SCP and Golden, which were the last two that ended big auctions with comps? We talked about those last week, but Alt had auctions end during the week. And
you mean how alts are lower? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Sure.
So why? Why do you think they end lower?
I still didn't understand the story post, but I think one of the reasons is because you actually have to load money into the account. It does piss a lot of people off. I think it's stupid because you load money in, you get instant credit, so it clears your account pretty quick. Like you get the money available to use quickly. Then you could bid 3x whatever you put in. And if you don't bid on anything or you don't win anything, to get the money out, it's like 1 or 2 days. So it's a nice system. Like they've done a good job. I think the second thing is just the buying demographic on there. Like I think PWCC and Golden has done well to really win over that kind of the 1% market, right? The people who own maybe 40 cards, but the average cost of those cards is $50K and above. Whereas I think a lot of the people buying on alt are dealers who are looking for deals. So they're not going to overspend. They know what cards are worth. They know what cards are worth at shows versus what they're worth online. So they're trying to get steals and deals, and they're smart about how they invest their money. So I think the real market value is probably somewhere in between where alt ends and where Golden and PWCC ends. It's somewhere in that general area. Like I don't think a LeBron PSA 10 refractor top chrome is 38K, but I also don't think it's maybe 60K.
Right. Okay. I mean, I think it was like 41 or 40. I think there's still a buyer's premium, but I understand what you're saying. Guys, just a couple of comps, and I guess the way to look on alt is if something sells on alt close to what the collectible market value is, that's probably a good thing, right? Because alt stuff usually sells pretty low, and the key here is you have to have your money loaded. So like the first one, for example, somebody would have to have $100,000 in alt just waiting to pay for this. You have to have your money in your wallet ready to go to pay for this. If not, you cannot bid. And that is an interesting thing, right? Because if you don't win, you have $100,000 sitting there doing nothing, just waiting until the next auction. So I'm talking about none other than the 79 OPG Wayne Gretzky PSA 9. One sold on alt for $97,133. That is, below $100,000. The card usually doesn't sell for below $100,000. It's a really nice looking one on PWCC coming up this week, and I'm sure it will sell for more than that because it's an eye appeal one. But it's $97,000, and the current trading price on Collectable is $113,000. So not crazy, but just a comp you're probably going to want to know about. That the one sold on alt for $97,000, and the one on Collectable is trading at $113,900. Another one of my favorites, The Rock, the 1994 Miami Bumblebee Dwayne Johnson PSA 10, trading on Collectable at $30,600. One sold for $22,010. That's a pretty big difference. $22,010 ending on alt. One that was close, so I guess this you could say is a good price for the one on Collectable, is the 2003 EX Essential Credentials Now LeBron James number 102 in BGS 95. Same card. I think it's numbered out of 102. I think. Trading price for Collectable is 87.5. It sold for 81 on alt. So something that close, even when on alt, you're not going to usually see those big prices come in. If this is the same kind of card like Andrew's talking about, if it sells on Golden or PWCC or one of the other platforms, it probably sells for more.
It's an awesome card. 210 subgrades too.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Also, take a look at these. The first two were PSA. It was a PSA 9 and a 10. This is a BGS 9.5. So obviously not everyone's the same. Also the Gretzky PSA 9. That card varies as well. The 79 Opeachy. But I just wanted to bring that up because it is the most recent comp. I could talk about Gleyber Torres. He's not getting regular at bats. If he was, he'd be crushing it. Dude has double-digit home runs. I think he leads middle infielders with home runs, even though he's playing only like every other game. And it's because the Yankees already had a crowded infield with bringing in Donaldson and LeMahieu was there and bringing in kind of Falefa. But now they signed Carpenter. He's playing third base, and he hit 2 home runs today. And he's just mashing. And you need a lefty in that lineup with a short porch in right field. And Marwin Gonzalez, who used to beat us up when he was with the Astros.
Houston.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's kind of like a utility guy. He's one of these Swiss Army knife players, and Boone obviously is riding with those two right now. Even though Gleyber has got his power stroke back, it may be one that's a potentially buy cheap option. It's a BGS 9.5 orange refractor Bowman Chrome number to 25.
He's going to be overshadowed. He's going to be overshadowed by Judge.
Of course. Judge had 2 home runs yesterday. I mean, dude's going to hit 60 home runs this year if he stays healthy. Yeah. I mean, but everyone's going to be overshadowed by Judge. That's,
Guys, something to look out for, if we're talking baseball, Cunha is on a little bit of a heater right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, baseball's a game of runs. Trout will go 0 for 27 and have the worst slump of his career, and then the next 27 at-bats he'll have 16 or 18 hits. It's just the way it goes. I know basketball is the game of runs, but baseball, it's a very streaky sport as well, and it's a long season. But Acuna looks good.
Look at this. Look, I mean, it isn't card. Just the player. It's also about the card, right? Like, This is a card that you have a guy who's beloved, 5-tool, all that. He's starting to put it together. A gold Bowman first auto. And that's a really nice auto, too, if we can be real about it, with players like signing circles. This is a really cool card, man. This is a really cool card. And what are the
subgrades on that?
9 centering, which is actually... I think on a modern card, a 9 centering is the subgrade you want if you're going to have a min gem, and then 9.5s all around. The centering looks okay, but here's the thing, Cage. This is right now market cap of 31.2. There was just an alt sale. I'll click on it right here for 33.22, and I don't know if the subgrades are the same.
I think it was a 10.
Yeah,
I think
it was all 9.5s here.
No, I think
it was all 9.5s.
I think the one on alt. Oh, 33. Really?
Mm-hmm.
When was that sale?
16 days ago.
Because there was one 2 days ago that ended at 30,500, and it was a PSA 10. Same card. This is the fun thing about comps, right? I mean, it's still right in range. Obviously, one for 33, that's BGS 9.5. But, one ended 2 days ago. Acuna. PSA 10, number 19 of 50. Old value, 53,000. Winning bid, 30,950. Did you see it? If not, I will send you a link.
You're 100% right.
There you go. I mean, it's still right on target with the 31.2 trading range for Acuna, which was down almost 8% this week. But yeah.
How often do you see this, Cage? A modern player with a 27 serial number. Like, this looks like this was graded, like, that's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you, if you want to look at this card, if you zoom in on that, I think the auto is terrible, and he signed it well off the left side. So while this is a 10, the person who graded this is very smart. Graded it with PSA to get a PSA 10 and did not put an auto grade on this because this auto grade would not come anywhere near the collectible PSA BGS 10 auto. It's just one of those things, right? We give comps, but if you just look at the headline, and we talk about this all the time, it looks like, wow, a PSA 10 sold for 30,000. The BGS 9 should be less. This auto is miserable. It's like, he ends it in the middle of the card. He starts it like half of the R, and his name is not even on the card. So this happens. These guys sign a lot of cards.
I'm gonna go different direction with this, Cage.
Shoot.
This shows he cares. Look at the effort. The effort. He's a baseball player. He's not
Well, at least he
gonna hit
put
a
his
home run
name
every
on.
time.
He didn't just write RA on it.
Right, 2 out of 3. But the effort is there. I like Acuna. I might now buy a gold Bowman first auto. I just
There you
decided
go.
I will.
Go get one. Go get one. Infinite bankroll. There you go. That's the way to go, man.
I
That
live in the
is
metaverse where I could just print money.
So we talked last week about the Ronaldo 14 Prism World Cup signature BGS 9 1 of 1. They talked about that card because, World Cup's coming, a whole deal. And that was the biggest gainer this week, up 38%. I know you don't love the card, but, we're going to talk about that.
It's a 1 of 1.
It's a 1 of 1. I mean, so is the joke. No, Jokic 1 of 1. I mean, listen, guys, let me take a little bit of a tangent here. While the collectible sports memorabilia index was down 4%, the sports cards index was down 2.2, and the overall index down 2.9. In a week where Bitcoin was down 33%, real estate overall, according to the Vanguard Real Estate Index Fund, is down 5.7. The Nasdaq's down 5.6, and the Dow Jones down 4.5. S&P 500 down 5. So the cards were down, but they were all down less. And the memorabilia was all down less than every one of those indexes, unless you were in gold. Gold's the only one that beat the collectible index this week. So it's just it's interesting to watch that stuff. Chris Hodge does a good job in his stories of always grounding folks and comparing that stuff as well. But it's just the overall market conditions are down, so we shouldn't be surprised if the card market is down 3% when everything else is down 4 or 5. Doesn't mean panic. It means anybody investing in anything right now is down unless you went and bought 1 million barrels of gasoline.
Find cash flow,
because that was like $1.50
Find
a
cash
gallon.
flow. I know that's an annoying thing to hear in times like this, but like in times where you can't just speculate, sit back and make money, cash flow. If you can find that, what you're going to start seeing is opportunities, not sell-offs. Because now you're just getting better stuff for cheaper. Our issue is when we have this expectation of we need these assets to appreciate to make money and live off of. Then it's very stressful.
We need you on that wall.
Is that fair, right?
That's very fair. No, I don't plan on my Lebron Chrome Refractor making dividends for me this year. No. It's just but I know exactly what you're saying, right?
You plan on helping people, creating a show, being a successful lawyer, using that to get sponsorship money and money in, and you use that to buy discounted assets.
Correct. That is the plan, my friend. That is the goal. That's definitely the goal. Interesting stuff. Listen, some stuff that stuck out for me, if you want to pull these up just from the pricing, you know how I do this, I look at the charts from last week, the week before to this week, and see things that look like they kind of maybe somebody, exited them. There might be a liquidity, run for no reason. This card is gorgeous. This is a really gorgeous card. Take a look at the 51 Bowman PSA 7 Willie Mays. This is a Willie Mays rookie, right? And, obviously it's had a bit of a run. This thing started off at $10 a share, 9,900 shares, so $99,000, right? You look at this. You see this bad boy here? You can pull it up whenever you want to. And last week, trading at 780, down to 625 a share. So if you look at just the week-over-week chart on the 51 Bowman Mays PSA 7, Willie Mays, there it is. Took a little bit of a dump here.
Mm-hmm. Big dump.
Which is a little odd because, like I say, Willie Mays, this is a rookie. It's a PSA 7. It's a pretty nice looking card. And what's the market cap on this now?
60 and change.
60-something $1,000 approximately.
61.
That's a real nice card. And I believe in the secondary market, this is its low that it's ever been. Actually, there was 1 week it was 610.
There's guys, there's a little bit of extra kind of data here that you might want to look into. So something that they've added on Collectable. Specifically, this one is interesting. It's trading activity. Mm-hmm. It's defined as the percentage of collectible investors who increased or decreased their net position in this asset over the time frame. So this one is 48% are buying, 51% are selling. So just a little more data for you guys to figure out how to use it and trade on your own. Cool.
Yeah. We talked about one of ones that you do not like. Can you pull up the Jokic 1 of 1? I was at a birthday party today.
Is
for
it
one
a
of
white
Ian's.
sparkle optic prism?
No, it's the Prism's Power
34?
one. Remember 15, 16 Prism's Power? I was at a party today, and one of the dads was wearing a Jokic jersey, which is pretty interesting. So you don't like this one. It's like it's a weird looking 1 of 1, right? But it is a rookie auto Prism 1 of 1 that IPO'd at $23,000, right? So 2,300 shares, 10 per share. Last week, it was above its IPO. It was 10.10 a share. From last week to this week, it dropped 25%. It's down to $7.60 a share. Take a look at this. Take a look at the again. Nice little drop there, right? So this is one I don't know if somebody exited because I don't know Jokic. They just realized he was no longer in the playoffs this past week. I don't know what happened, but it took a heck of a 20-something% drop. And this is one where now at the price, what's it at? About 15 grand, something like that, $16,000. Somebody who's a Jokic fan might come in and try to scoop this one up. As a little buyout here. It's a 1-on-1 rookie auto of the dude.
You know how we
MVP.
talk about Zion, like he has a lot of risk for next year, but he has a lot of reward, right? If he does well. I think this Denver Nuggets team is really interesting. Like, I don't think or know if they're going to be a championship contender, but I think next year we might be able to kind of get that answer. And if your bet is there might be a 60% chance they can make a run, 40, 50, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're getting Michael Porter Jr. back. They're getting Jamal Murray back. They're going to be hungry. You have a guy coming off 2 MVPs in a row. Interesting time to buy, right? Because it's not just about the player. It's about when to buy. I like your Jokic play, but I don't love that card.
Okay, so here's one you won't like, but the audience might. It's not a player who you are in love with, but he has a huge fan base, and we talked about him on our PWCC show as well. It is, but it's not just Trey. It's a Trey Flawless rookie auto, and people are moving into Flawless. You know this. You've talked about it yourself, right? But take a look at this one.
I don't follow what Drake does.
No, the hobby, right? So this one IPO'd at 10 a share, 24,000 total, and it has traded above that. Last week it was 10. Take a look at the chart. Went last week from 10 to 656 per share. I mean, what the heck happened here? This is down 30-something% week over week, and now finds itself sitting at what? How much is the valuation on this?
15.
Like $16,000 for a Trey Flawless rookie green. I mean, it's another one of those where just the chart. I didn't know what card it was, guys, but it IPO'd at 10. It's been 10 for the last month and a half too. Before that, it was over 10. It was as high as 12.22. It's now a little bit less than half, or right around half of what it was 2 months ago, trading at. So it's just another one that the chart, I was like, what the heck happened? It was $10 a share last week. Now it's 656, down 30-something%. You don't see that on a lot of cards unless, maybe a couple people are trying to find some liquidity and they exited it. So it's just one that stuck out at me. I didn't know if it was going to be Trae Young or Willie Mays when I looked at the chart. I scroll back over. I'm like, Trae Young. There you go. Andrew's going to love it when I bring this one up.
The only thing that worries me is where would you put Willie Mays? Tier 1, tier 2, tier 3?
Of what? Baseball all time? Tier 1.
Tier 1. Where would you put Trae in modern day tier 1, tier 2, tier 3? Modern day players.
Tier right now after this past season, high 3 with the potential to be in 2. About
Amazing.
Right?
I think people cut tier 3, tier 2, tier 4 during times like this. I don't think they cut 1, but I think they cut the 3s.
Okay. Can you pull up one more for me for those people out there who actually who they like hockey? Pull up the Ovechkin's SP Authentic Basket. So it's the 0506 SP Authentic BGS 95. There's 2 of them. This is a recent one. It IPO'd 10, and there's $29.99, so basically $30,000. It actually, when it opened, 2 months ago or so, when it opened for trading, it went up from its IPO price. And last week it was down to $8.26 a share. Now at $7.01. Obviously, didn't win. He's it's going to be the Avalanche and Tampa Bay in the finals. Andrew called it correctly. He always does. He knows hockey like nobody else does.
I actually watched the game, the Rangers game.
The Rangers,
it's fun, man.
Playoff hockey is different. Playoff hockey is different.
They're
especially
so talented, man.
Game. Those guys know what they're doing. But anyway, this one was down almost 20% week over week. and it's now down 30% from its IPO, and it's it's only been trading for 2.5 months. People are going to look away at hockey. I'm not saying you have to buy into this right now, but there's going to be people looking at the Avalanche and people looking at Tampa Bay now, and there'll be the off season, and this one might be one that falls a little too low for one of the greats of the game.
Can I tell you a pet
better
peeve
cards?
of mine?
Of course, that's I live to serve. Let's hear the pet peeve.
So with BGS, with these cards that have no border, how do they grade the centering? How is this one a 9.5 and this one a 10? How do they know? What do they use?
I would tell you it's most likely, a measurement. If you take a look, like it says like Future Watch, it's got the stuff on the side. It's how much white space there is on the side from the letters. You know what I mean? That's probably what they use. So, but who knows? I said one more and I lied, but you're a soccer guy. Can you pull up? This is a cool one, guys, because this is a weird, like, not only do I try to find for you guys stuff on the charts that have like liquidity and exit, like it went way down 20-30% week over week for no reason, which these all fall into those categories, but weird anomalies in the charts is what I look for. So I want you to pull up the Ronaldo 2002 Panini Portugal sticker, number 306 in PSA 10. All right? And this one, I mean, expensive. You know this card, right? But so 100, it's like $100,000 market cap when it IPO'd, right? Like basically like 109 grand on this one. Not a lot of these, right? Not a lot of these. But here's what's weird, okay? It's been
22.
trading. It's been trading in secondary, right? It came out of 10, right? It dropped. So I think it's only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It only had 6 weeks of secondary trading. Pull the chart up for a second. All right. If you go back 4 weeks, it went from 8 to 551. All right. It stopped trading at $5.51. So I don't know if you look at like the asks and the bids and the whole deal, if there's a wall at 551. Right? If there's somebody who's got a bunch in there and saying, you know what, 551, that's almost half what it IPO'd at. It's too cheap. I'm a buyer at that price. But it happened 4 weeks ago. Fell to exactly $5.51 per share and immediately bounced back up to $7.25. Okay, the following weeks. It now fell this week back from $7.25 to, you guessed it, Andrew. You guess these things right all the time. Exactly $5.51. Not $5.52, not $5.65, $5.51. This chart looks like that $5.51 is a support level for this. And the last time it hit this, it jumped right back up. So you tell me what your thoughts are on this sticker, on the chart itself. I'm not a Ronaldo guy. You played Division I soccer, so I'm going to leave this in your capable hands to bring home.
All right, well, let's go like this. So we'll read right here. We'll go math for you guys, and we love you, Luca Nation. I was thinking about today how grateful I am. I mean, Gage, I think we have one of the most engaged communities out there.
The best.
So
best
all the
DMs,
please keep sending us message. I learned from a ton of you guys. I love the banter. I love all the messages. You guys are fucking awesome. Let's go numbers on this bitch. So there are only 22 PSA 10s in existence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. $61,000 card. 60,335 02. We're gonna go right up here in collectible for the 03 mega cracks, right?
Yep.
This card is a $245,000 card with 38 in existence. Okay, this is a card that's a sticker. That's 02. This is 03. Is this XRC? That's the true rookie. We don't know, but I don't think something with 22 only known copies of a top 3 greatest player of all time. I think you're right. I think it proves that there is support at that 551 because if the Mega Cracks is $240K, I would love this for $60,000.
Yeah,
that's a bargain.
And I think somebody else is thinking the same thing. I think that's what we're seeing here. I think somebody else is thinking exactly that. I think somebody's saying, you know what, that's a price I'll buy the card at. So I'm just gonna anytime it drops down, I'll come in and I'll buy whatever share somebody wants to sell for me at that. And what happens when that occurs is just, to buy it, you're going to have to start beating that person's price. And I think that might be what we have going on here.
The one thing that I did learn from collectors is at the end of the day, the floor, I think Jeremy Padower said this, the floor, the final person kind of holding, like, that is the collector. And what that price they're willing to buy out, that's the true price. So what that is to me is that's what in today's market. Again, things could change, but in today's market, that's what that card is worth.
One last one on Andrew's play here, right? We talked about the 86 Fleer. It's only traded 1 week. It's a new one. It is the unopened box basket of 80 Topps basketball, right? And obviously, we've talked about the Bird, Magic, Julius Erving card kind of coming down in price a little bit in PSA 8s. There's a 10 selling in the Golden Auction coming up, the premiere, the Golden Elite, I think they call it, this month. This box was it IPO'd at $10 a share, $67.75, so $67,750. It's only traded for 1 week, and it fell in its first week of trading from $10 a share to just over $7.05, which means now you're talking about boxes are what, 20-ish each? There's 2 boxes in the basket. Hard to find these boxes. You're able to buy 2 boxes at one time. This is one of those plays that Andrew's talking about. People would love to open these boxes, grab, the old set. People build these sets, grab the Magic and Larry Bird rookie. Go ahead.
This makes so much sense to me. Like, if I'm a breaker, written up breakers are killing it, and some people like it, some people don't. But the reality is they're making money.
Yep.
And they have cash flow.
Yep.
Why would I not buy this out and have an event? This is
it makes sense, right? It makes sense. And this one's now down. It's down from.
This is a fun one to buy. The 10 is $800,000. You have that hype. It's just, I think this kind of stuff is incredibly, incredibly safe and smart investment.
Here's the advice of the day. Go watch Ghost Dog or go on YouTube or wherever it is you get your music and listen to the soundtrack. It's all music by the RZA, Birds, Flirt's fine. That's good stuff.
Let's give Cage a little shout. You're down. Cage is in preseason mode. This guy thinks he got drafted by the Giants. Like, he's ready to play on the defensive line.
I played dodgeball with my son today, which is cool.
You were down, what, 35 pounds?
Like 33 pounds right now, yeah, 33.
Jeez. You
Gotta
feel
go for a
lighter?
walk.
You feel springy?
Listen, when I'm done with this, I got to go walk in the dark. I can't stop walking. I will not sleep until I get 10,000 steps in a day. So that's the deal. And then, we get down. Maybe we start jogging. Right now at my weight, I jog, I'll break my knees. So I can't do that. But we'll get there. We'll get there at National, guys. You'll see.
Guys, if you want to watch an entertaining movie, really interesting movie, actually. Hustle on Netflix with Adam Sandler.
I heard that was good. I
don't know if good is the right word. It's entertaining. Like, Adam Sandler's that dude that like everybody who's anybody's in this movie. It was like the entourage of the NBA. It was like Kenny Smith was like Leon Rich, an agent. I think it was like kind of like the Rich Paul vibe.
Yeah.
No, it was entertaining. It was fun. Anthony Edwards is hilarious. Kermit. So no, it was worth it. So if you guys want like a light movie to watch it, since there's no NBA tomorrow, Whatnot. So dude, we have the giveaway. We have the Curry.
Yeah, might as well get this, folks. The Collectable listeners in on that also. I mean, who doesn't want a Steph Curry National Treasures PSA 10 for free?
Bro, but I was sweating because they were down. I was like, who was going to want this card if the Celtics are 3-1?
I told you they were going to win. I had no doubt. No doubt. Chef, 70 points. That's the thing. Anybody who listens to us knows. If Clay and Poole and Steph get to 70, they win. That's it. Easy.
And even if that's Steph putting up 70 and Poole putting up 0.
Dude, Poole had like 14, 15 points, and Clay had like 18, 20 points. They didn't, they had 30-something points combined between the two of them. They definitely contributed. Poole had a better game than I thought he was going to have on the road. And if they go out there and win this, Boston fans, be careful, because they go win Game 5, Golden State. I know you're back in Boston, but you get Game 6 Clay. And that man is not to be trifled with.
I know you got to go walk, but like, I love teams like this because Clay isn't on it right now.
No, he's not.
Clay isn't playing great, and to like battle, you got to admire people who shoot through a slump. So Game 6
keep
Clay
shooting, just keep shooting. He watches Finding Nemo before every game. Just keep shooting. So talk about the Whatnot Show. Let people know where they can find you, how they can get in on this giveaway for free.
Yep. Whatnot, Luca Nation, 2 words. It's already pinned. All you have to do is go there and hit enter. It's that simple. And really what we're doing
you can go right now.
You can literally go right now as you're listening to this. And I know the Whatnot community is a different community. Honestly, who the hell cares? You don't have to follow anybody else other than us if you don't want to. We're going to have the sickest slabs available. All are going to be sold for $1. We're going to have tons of giveaways.
Well, they're going to start at $1. They don't get sold at $1. The auction's starting at $1.
Yes.
Do not think you're coming there. I mean, you might get something for $1 if no one else bids on it, but not everything you're selling is $1.
Cage is already worried.
I don't want to lose that much money, man. I'm okay losing money. I want our fans to get good stuff, but I don't want to do $1 each.
Right. No, but it's a lot of people have wanted us to like do live shows and do Q&As. Why don't we do it there? Like we're doing the Q&A, the consignment show. We're going to be selling slabs, but you have direct access to us. We read all the comments. It's fun. It's engaging. Sometimes the big lug will be there, but other times maybe some of you guys join the show and you request to be like kind of a co-host, and we go and chop it up for 5-10 minutes too. So we'll do fun stuff with every single day, Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern on your commute home. If people still do that, join us. Whatnot.
Thanks,
Luca
everybody.
Nation.
It's been Collectable's Fractional Report before the opening bell. Thanks.
Thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com. or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.